Hello, and welcome to the Legendarium Green Team. I'm Jingalls90, and with me today are Littleredbook
Hello.
and TexasBlade.
Hey, y'all.
Today we are discussing Book 8 of the, or no, this is Book 9 of the Alex Verus series, Marked by Benedict Jacka. Oh, all right. For the sake of the listeners, we will do some non-spoiler talk, but I do
I
just want to
mean,
I want to dive in.
if you are we're talking about book 9. Like,
Yeah. We are we are talking book 9 in a 12-book series. We have just entered the final third. Things are popping off. It's going big.
so, as I said in a little pre-chat discussion, this is when things get real. Like, so many things are happening that have all been in the background that we suspect might happen, and now, like, things are getting very real.
I mean, that was a really distinct feature of this particular book is that um, everything seemed focused on plot lines that we've already seen. Like we're done with the side missions, kind of. Everything plays into the particular topic at hand, which is what to do with Morden and Richard and other folks that might be involved in their machinations, and now working to get those done, which I find just like really satisfying considering we've been building that up for so long, and to finally see some actual play on it is really great.
This one definitely didn't have any, like I think I mentioned last time, some of those books, there's like, oh, do I have to go through this part? And I don't think I remembered anything like this. And we did also finally get his age, like pretty much. I mean, it was, we got his age at the beginning of the series, but you can do the math now as opposed to him playing. So I was actually quite surprised about that. I guess we get to see Alex take up his, do be the good council member. Yes, it's a good installment with much more interesting things to come.
Yeah.
Um, Question, how do you feel about this compared to the other books that we've read in the series so far?
Mm. It's hard to say over 9 books. I feel like I'd have to go back and actually look at them. My initial feelings in response, I think there have been books that I have been more satisfied with, like some of the action character development, but this one's still pretty high. I will say, like, for some of the things that happen with a very important character at the end, I found sometimes the dialogue that they shared was a little too uh for the lack of a for lack of a better word, tropey, to and very much adhering to what you kind of expect to hear from a person who is supposed to be like the dark version of another character, right? Like comedically evil at times. um, so a little campy.
It is kind of a mental construct, so you'd almost I'd say you could see why it would be tropey, because if you're constructing something with your mind, you're gonna use the tropes to construct it.
Oh yeah, I think the criticism here is very minor. I think as a whole, our villains up to this point, and including like Morden and Richard, have just been a lot stronger than that particular villain. And and I I think it was a necessary but weird turn for Jaka's writing in particular. So
So I'm going to push back on you a little bit for that. I think that's fair, but what I would say is because this particular character is the way this character is, there's no balancing.
right,
And that, I mean, it's fair to say tropey. I don't think, like, if there is no balance in a character's personality, I mean, so you can cut this out if you want. We're talking about Anne.
yeah,
And we all know already, if we've gotten to this point, that Anne has 2 personalities.
right.
And so I think that because she has this one super passive personality and this one super aggressive, there's no balancing because normal people aren't like that. We are both passive and we're not all passive aggressive, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Sure. We don't necessarily bend
What are
at
you
extremes,
saying?
right? We don't tip to extremes that easily necessarily.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, and I like it. I think I understand that perspective, and I think I'm okay with it overall. But when we have, I don't know, I it seems like a weird thing for Anne. Yeah, we'll just keep this in. Sorry, folks, we're talking about a character you probably should have known we were talking about. um, I think for Anne, this could tread into a lot of what we're also going to see out of Delio and Rachel, who I am convinced might be two separate entities at this point as well. So maybe it's gonna be hard for me to make any sort of judgment until I actually see what happens with them. But I think this one of the questions that we got today was from here and asking us talk about some of the symbolism in Alex Verus, and um, I don't think there's really any hiding that Jocko really likes playing with foils as characters and having identity reflected in more than one character to kind of see different ways that it plays out. Um, and I think that could be particularly true of Delio and Anne, and to a lesser extent, probably probably Alex. So um,
I would say Alex and Luna are foils.
yeah, I would say that's true too. Yeah.
I mean, she picked the mage name Vesta, which is the goddess of the hearth,
Okay.
and
Yeah. So
instead of somebody like, Diana, who is the goddess of the hunt, or even Athena, who's the goddess of war.
mm, yeah, very clearly looking to represent herself in a different way than the aggression of her powers, perhaps.
And Alex's obvious
Yeah.
aggression.
Yeah. Very blatant aggression.
Yeah. Okay.
So cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we can dive into that a little bit more later if we want to, but let's go ahead and get a synopsis in here, shall we?
Absolutely.
Junior Cancelman Virus has been busy. Since the vault was broken into almost a year ago, dark mages have been running around with imbued items and causing a ton of chaos. On top of that, some senior council still don't trust him and would like to see him gone. But Virus is too cunning for that and starts working the political system in his favor. He also reluctantly asks Anne to join on as his aide. Warden's trial is looming, and Taliesin and Bahamas, one of the senior council members, would like to get as much out of Morden about Richard before an execution takes place. Guess who's going to do all the dirty work for that one? Alex makes meetings with Cinder, Onyx, and others to find Richard's next public event, a meeting at the Tiger Palace to recruit all of Britain's adepts to his side. During that meeting, havoc breaks loose, primarily caused by a dark force on Richard's side. Assuming to be Vihala, the force is eventually revealed to be the dark side of Anne and the Jinn working under Richard's control. Anne and the Jinn break Morden out of prison, massacre many guards, and successfully escape. Alex chases Anne down, confronts the Jinn and Dark Anne, but it's Anne who eventually confronts both, banishing the Jinn and locking Dark Anne away. Oh, let's not forget Alex also receives prophecy from a dragon while all this is going on, admits his feelings for Anne to himself and eventually to her. Anne, after her fight with her dark self and an evil entity, does the same, and they finally kiss, accepting that they will face the challenges ahead of them together. Oh, it's so nice.
So you were right.
Yeah. Let's see. I do love that in this book, it's just like Alex just I don't know why I've been denying it. I love her. It's true.
He did kiss her. What was it last book or book before last? I think.
Did they?
Right, right. He kissed her when he dropped her off and then ran to suicide. He thought.
I don't remember
Um,
that. But yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
he was
you're right.
setting up the trap for all the people that were coming after all of the cis men that were coming after him. And he was just gonna he had like claymores all around. He was gonna go out fighting, and that's when they appointed him. So I think that was the end of the book before last. So 7.
Oh, okay.
But it was kind of like he kissed her to stun lock her brain so he could jump through the portal and close it. Well, and keep her far away.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's right. I remember that now.
okay.
Stun lock brain. Plus, he thought he was gonna die, so he's like, "I'm gonna try this anyway."
Well, then finally a reciprocated kiss then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. So this is kind of a lot of stuff happens in this book. I like all of them. I feel like I've said that every single book at this point.
And
But
you are
one of the
correct.
yeah. But one of the very first things that we have kind of as an introduction in this is Alex playing role of junior councilman and also still kind of fulfilling his role as a keeper a little bit by hunting dark mages with imbued items. And we get again going back to the kind of the symbolism of identity and the control that we have over those things. We have a mind control mage who is taking over people and making things. I can't quite remember exactly what he's doing,
They're making
but
little
they're
caps, but
yeah,
he's not a mind control mage, he's an air mage, and he's got a crown that
but
I think he was an adept.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, but, yeah, so he's got this crown that takes possession of people and
mhm.
turns everything into the thralls, and, like, Alex has this whole spiel about how, "Look, why are you suddenly, like, concerned about having servants, and this has happened a million times, and you're gonna get all these servants, and then you're gonna build an army, and then you're gonna try and take over the world," basically, is what this crown does. Like, I don't even know why someone would wanna make an imbued item like this, but apparently somebody did.
Presumably, they thought they could control it, or it was a failed experiment kind of thing. I would
Well, yeah, it kind of
guess.
continues to be this very weird thing that only some people are very aware of is that imbued items are not good for your health necessarily, right? Like they are helpful, they are tools. They have a lot of good some well, this one I don't think has any good purpose, but they sometimes have good purpose. But those things can backfire if misused, right? And we very much see that with this particular guy is he just has no control over his life all to begin with. He's an adept, right? He's not very content with the way things are. So he tries using a tool that will make him have power. And then that power just completely backfires on him because it's not his to use or he doesn't know how to properly use it.
As far as this particular item, I don't know if there is a proper way to use it,
Yeah,
but
right.
we
Why
also
the
saw the
white
misc
council's or the light council's not using it because they're like, yeah, no, it's not worth the.
but, I mean, the miscloak almost kills Alex, or not kills, but
Fades him out of existence. Yeah.
right.
Makes them
Um
very, very safe.
Exactly. So they have minds of their own. They're not people exactly, but they're almost like people.
Mhm.
And
It's a
apparently we have
power
this
with a
crown.
bit of a will behind it,
Right,
but
right,
it's the will to do what it can do without the ability to think past what it can do.
right.
The cloak wants to hide. The mind control crown wants to mind control.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Why you broke up with your girlfriend and dropped out of school and now you're obsessed with making servants."
It's this is a problem. I don't know why you don't see that. Well, actually, I
I
know
also
exactly why
love
you don't
that
see that.
I love that Alex is like, "Okay, we're just not gonna try and kill these people because the keepers are all like, 'We're gonna go in there and shoot everybody up.'"
Oh, yeah.
And he's heading point, and this one mage is like, "Why are you heading point? And you should send in the sticks to poke the bomb." Like, that was actually a very funny moment because the civilians, they're not civilians, they're just not they're normals who work for the council. It's like,
It's
so the
council
way it
security.
works is the security. You send the security in to poke the thing to see if it's a bomb, and sometimes that's very hard on the stick.
Yeah. That's a great line.
And the fact that Alex is willing to take the forefront of the battle is just really it's who he is. Like, he's more willing to take the risk than and he even has this whole argument with the mages about or the council about, "How many of you have actually gone out and tried to get some of this stuff back?" And they're like, So it's just
Druce is a 4. Yeah. I like Druce. I wanna see more of Druss. Druss? Druce? I don't know how you
dross,
pronounce Dross.
which
Trosk, I think, or something like yeah, something.
anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Or Trosk. I can't remember now.
Either way, I feel like we need to see more of the tentative allies. I mean, we guess, like, we get kind of Bahamas, but even Bahamas is pretty neutral, right?
Well, part of
Um,
the senior council kinda just starts to feel like one character and because
yeah.
there's n yeah. Although Sapphire, not Sapphire, she was the mind mage. The one counselor who takes Alex aside and say, "Do you think this plan will actually work?"
Oh, Spire?
Spire, there you go.
Yeah,
He does feel distinct, and Levistus always feels distinct.
very
But other
distinct.
than that, it's like a blob.
Yeah. I will okay, so this is kind of a tangent, but my favorite scene of this book for funny, when Indaris doesn't really make a decision on what to do with Morden, and Levistus and Alex look at each other and have a moment of understanding between each other. They're just like, "We hate each other, but this guy is actually the worst." Like
I love, the scene where Mordant and Alex meet up. It's towards the
And
beginning of
just
the book where
talking
yeah,
talking normally, like, they're
and you really realize what a political genius Mordant is, and that even though he's a dark mage, he doesn't hold grudges at all.
Yeah.
He's just like, "This is the way things are, and I'm just playing by the rules of the game," and he actually gives Alex a really good advice on how
Mhm.
to handle the situation, and it was, just really kinda cool to see that. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in prison. Here's some advice. Do this, do that." At the same time, he's displaying his chain of
Alright.
his counselship, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
and
Just a reminder of his power, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They should have chopped his head off a long time ago. I don't
Oh,
it would
they
have solved
absolutely should have.
it would have solved so many problems.
Yeah.
Like, for one, the council could have gotten rid of Alex if they really wanted to, just by chopping off Morton's head.
Well, yeah, so trying to
There's
think of, like,
politics involved.
what they actually got out of this situation that Alex didn't have a hand in was nothing. Morden gave them nothing. He caused them a lot of problems, and then he broke out. Like, uh, I mean, everything it's weird because everything was kind of to Alex's benefit. Like, these were confrontations he needed to, ruin Richard's efforts with the Adepts, and it was what he needed to understand how bad the weird love triangle of Richard Drock, Jin, and Dark Ann is, like, like, and dispelling the Jin and getting Dark Ann under containment. Um, the the Light Council gained nothing out of this entire scenario. They lost their prisoner.
Because the White Council is dumb.
Yeah,
They're just dumb. I
incredibly.
okay, so let's go to something else if you don't mind, Jingles. I know you're the host, but
Sure, we can,
so
absolutely.
so we have the day of training, and I love the part where Alex is like, "If you can't master something in 5 minutes, you're not gonna be able to master it, so just don't learn how to do that." Because she's, like, talking about doing high kicks or whatever, and then whatever the T guy, he's like, "You need to be on standby," and like, "Okay." So they just have this really beautiful they go to a whole bunch of different places and just have fun, and it's so nice to see these characters have fun together because they normally are, like, trying not to die.
Mhm.
And, yeah, so I just thought that was great and beautiful, and they kiss, and Alex is like, "Do you wanna talk about Dark Anne with me?"
And then, no, I'm good.
Basically.
Yeah. I'm okay.
That won't
She's like
bite them in the back.
yeah, right, and she's like, "I could go into a club and get a drink, or Dark Anne can go in the club and wanna kill everybody. How do you compromise with that?" And I thought that was interesting.
First off, yeah, I found that entire chapter very sweet. I really felt like that was something that we needed to see Alex and Anne
Mhm.
do. Because we haven't really Jaka often enters us into scenes of comfort that all four of these characters are having, like they're playing Catan or they're doing little things that lead into the main story, right? We never have really gotten too much of them actually just living a little bit,
Mhm.
and being friends. And yeah, for Alex and Anne, I think this was a great approach to do that. And now she has some deer for her hollow. So
Not too
um,
many, not a whole
not
herd.
not a whole herd, just enough. Yeah. So I do like that. But on the dark and topic,
What I would say about Dark Anne is that how surprised were you when it turned out that it wasn't Vahalis, it was Dark Anne on the stage with Richard.
I was very shocked. I did just kind of take for granted that it might be Vilhela. Um, and then I also like watching Alex actually process that and understand that like Dark Anne fed him information to make him see what she wanted him to see. I thought that was really clever. A really good use of understanding how manipulative Dark Anne can be.
Well, she even
How
changes,
dangerous.
Anne's memories.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and just yeah. Well, so that's part of because she wasn't this dark when we first met her, right? Like she wasn't necessarily evil. Probably very much by design. She was kind of tricking Alex into seeing her in a kinder light. Um,
Well, he even acknowledges that when Anne
yeah,
says she's just trying to make you feel sorry for her.
yeah,
But I kinda understand a little
yeah. I
bit.
do too. I mean, oh, that comes kind of back to what I was thinking about with Dr. Sherland. This is a really weird situation because even the psychologist mind mage is just like, I don't really know what to make of this whole situation. Like, this is not what people necessarily do with themselves. Like, they don't partition themselves so strongly that another person is created out of that. Um, it's it's weird, and I get why it can throw someone like Alex off. Like, you're just not anticipating this type of behavior.
Oh, you were talking about Norse? By the way, this is completely off topic. Um, Valhalla Valhalis or whatever her name is,
Mhm.
sounds awful a lot like Valhalla,
That's
which is
true.
where dead warriors go in Norse mythology. So,
That's
anyway.
a good point. I'll have to look at how she spells her name now that you say that, because there might be Hella in there. Like, she might have warped it to interesting.
That just popped into my mind,
Yeah.
literally.
Huh.
Anyway, um, so the thing I enjoy about that battle in the Tiger's Palace, well, first of all, we get Meredith again, so
Yeah.
that was fun.
Welcome
She
back,
just
Meredith.
she just
Just
keeps popping up.
being Meredith. Yeah.
And you have that great conversation between Rachel and Alex. What do you guys think of her perception of Alex? Do you think she's right about who he is?
You go for it, Blade.
We're in his head, so we get to see what he's thinking. Though I suppose you can, we most easily lie to ourselves. Um, but see, she was saying is that he just wants power, right? And in some ways, that's he didn't want power until power started coming for him, and then he just wants enough to, you know. I mean, he asked the dragon, how what do I need to do? Can I get powerful enough to keep myself and my friends alive?
Right.
So, whereas, so I mean, I guess yeah, he wants power for what he wants, but he wants different things than she does. So, I think context is different. But if you want to strip everything down to the bare bones, I guess they are kind of the same.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of
I think the details are important, though.
the details are definitely important. I also think, and I'm going to kind of counter my own argument, mostly because the thing I'm going to bring up first really is what Luna presents to Alex, is that Rachel and Rachel and Caldera actually kind of say the exact same thing to Alex. And so that when they're having that conversation, it's kind of presented as there might be some truth to it, but at the same time, and again with the huge caveat that Alex is our perspective, so um, just because two people, or maybe even a bunch of people, see you in a certain light, does not mean that there's necessarily truth to what they're saying. It's definitely a perspective thing. It can have a lot to do with
Projection. We project
projection.
onto
Yep.
people our own. Kind of assume they're gonna think like us,
Yep.
and so
And I think one of the things that is kind of brought up that is a key component of this is that Caldera and Rachel both play by the rules that are presented to them, and Alex chooses not to,
Right.
which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing in either situation. I mean, we've had multiple hours at this point of talking about how corrupt both the systems are, right? Um, so it's hard to be mad at Alex for like I'm not going to act like all of his actions are totally altruistic, and I think he definitely does seek power. But I do trust that he's doing it more as a survival tactic than as an actual like craving for that power. But maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of factors here.
I feel like both Caldera and Rachel have a point, but I also feel like, I mean, Rachel says you've killed more people than most dark mages have ever killed, but how many times has Alex been put in a position where he doesn't really have a choice?
Right.
And she's like, you just justify it and you're so high and mighty and whatnot. And it's like, but Alex kept getting put into these really bad positions. like
Right. Yeah.
like those.
Yeah, it's never his real choice to up and kill someone. They're always it's him or them, and that's
I mean, that's fair.
yeah, yeah. It's like you're making you're making this us or me. I don't see why I should let you kill me, and since you're not giving me any other option.
Well, I think, and I don't know if this was an intentional callback for Jaka or not, but we do get a little bit of a callback to Alex talking about how he doesn't want people to be tripping on bombs that are set at his house early in the
Mhm.
book,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
which are like directly opposed to what was it, Cursed, where he actively throws the bomb at the person.
Well, that person was throwing the bomb at him.
Yeah.
He did a little bit of the grenade
Oh,
volleyball
no,
in
no,
this
no.
book
I
too.
mean, I'm not talking about the grenades in
Oh,
the actual battle that's happening. I'm talking about the guy who was, like, setting the traps at the warehouse,
but
and
which
then
we
he
walked
just,
by
like,
those. We
triggers.
walked by
Yeah,
those this book too.
yeah. So, it's one of those
The
things, like,
last ball bearings and stuff.
I yeah, and I think Alex is kind of toning it down a little bit more, like, he is still growing in that direction of being, you know, a little bit more peaceful if he can help it.
I mean, setting a trap and having it go off in your face is very poetic and seems very just a just way to do things. But
I do think there are some definitely morally ambiguous places where he kills people, but for the vast majority of the times, he does actually kill people or cause people to be killed, like the Nightmare Squad or whatever they were. Uh, like,
Night Stalkers, I think, right?
yeah, Night Stalkers or
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, the point is, he gave them multiple times to back off.
Yeah,
And if he were just seeking power, that wouldn't be what he was doing. And furthermore, if he was just seeking power, why is he helping adepts and novices who wander into his store to find um, mentors in the magical
yeah.
world?
Give them any sort of assistance.
Right. In which the White Council, this is the thing that makes me so mad. He estimates there are 10,000 adepts in London. Why aren't we mentoring these people? Why aren't we educating these people? Why aren't we bringing
They
them
can
into
only do one thing. They're minor. They're
I
nothing.
so stupid though.
It is
It's
so stupid.
it just makes me furious. And this book actually explains like Richard is trying to set up a bloodbath.
Mhm.
And the White Council comes in, all the guns, all the magic and whatnot, and starts throwing crap around when all you had to do is reach out to these people before they came under Richard's influence. Like, why didn't you do that?
Right. And now it's
Ugh.
too little too late because they'd see it as you doing damage control, right? Like, they don't
Right.
actually think you're
That's exactly
authentic in
what the
your
guy said
efforts.
to
Yep.
Alex. Is it's like, well, yeah, they didn't pay attention to us until we started like looking at their enemy, and now all they're telling us is don't be with the enemy. It's like you didn't care about us
Yeah.
And they aren't offering him an off ramp from the enemy. They're
Yeah.
just saying, don't be with the enemy. It's like,
They're not offering it, but inadvertently, I think Alex is. So this is one of my predictions that I think, I think Alex has now actually made himself a little bit of a poster child for the adepts. Um,
I hope so.
I really hope so because he does the one thing that he absolutely needed to do in that situation, which was take control of it and actually help everybody as much as he could. And I don't think that's going to go unseen because he does a really dang good job. Like he
Oh, yeah.
gets everyone out of there, you know?
Well,
Like,
and even Landis is like, "Good job at your first field command."
yeah,
You know what character I want more of? Landis. He is
always.
amazing. I love him so much.
That's what. Have you two read any of the novellas, or is that more a Chesky thing? Do you know if Landis
Not yet.
gets some love?
I have not read any of the novellas.
I
Okay.
have the one that was like what 2 books. The one I mentioned was like the in between. Was it
What
in
Sonder was
between?
doing?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Sonder one. I have it. I just haven't gotten around to reading it.
By the way, in the whole battle scene, besides Alex just being awesome, because he is, um, he calls up the stairs, he said, "Did you run out of rings and now you have to become normal Sonic?" And then we find out later, Dark Ann calls back, "I don't understand the reference." And I've never even played Sonic, and I got the reference. Just like,
Nice when
that
you
was
watch
so
those
That's
movies.
such a good joke. I love that.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he completely saves Landis there.
he does. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, that was a great. That was a whole from them getting into the end of it. It was just a great chapter, great scene. I love the using Meredith as a bodyguard, and then like after their talk, Rachel's just like, and I just realized I don't think she matters that much. Just like, it's like, oh crap. Okay.
Well, Luna has already hexed the machinery
Yeah.
that makes it work, makes
Right.
the whatever it work, and oh, and also we find Luna using her reverse curse, I think twice in this scene, where
Oh
she
yeah, she does make two things lucky, doesn't she?
yeah,
Oh,
lucky
missed
for
that.
other people.
Yeah, because it was the lock was the first one. What was the second?
Oh right, yeah.
Finding where to go to find
Right.
Meredith.
Right.
That's right. Yeah,
It's like
good
I
feeling.
have a good feeling about that. Yeah.
Well,
That
it's
direction.
her good feeling. The lock is also. I mean, I guess maybe a matter of her just considering like this is good for me. You should do this curse,
Yeah.
Maybe.
or it's this is bad for the lock. You want to make the lock feel bad, so stay open.
Make the lock feel bad.
I mean, what's worse for a lock? Its whole life's goal is to keep something locked, and then here's someone without the key coming, and it just ruins its lock's whole day, whole life.
I like the I like the reappearance of the dude who really hates them. That's one of the keepers, and it is in the one where they rescue all the sex slaves.
Oh, are you talking about
Oh,
What's his name?
his name also I it sounds like Cinder, which is why I keep confusing them.
Shard, maybe?
Shard might be right, yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, "Look, I know you hate me, but I know I can trust you because you're not corrupt. So
Yeah.
go punch out that lock and get these people out of here."
He's yeah, okay. Fine. You are the commander now, so
mhm.
And just him seizing control. He's just like waving around a
Oh, was
paper
it
that's about
Slate?
Slate,
oh, Slate.
yes.
Yes,
Slate.
that's it.
Yeah,
He's
same
waving
chapter.
around a paper about parking regulations that just says the council on it or something. He's like, "I'm taking charge." It was and Rain is not clearly as hostile as, Chimera is, or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
or
I've
Red,
Caldera.
Caldera.
I definitely
Yeah.
feel like Rain is kind of uh, light the light version of Cinder in that he understands and respects Alex in a way that maybe other
Yeah,
people of his ilk don't. Um,
I agree there. Yeah.
speaking of which, I guess actually, so yeah, kind of looking at what Alex has done in the past to survive and how many people he's killed. Do you guys find his relationship with like what is there anything there that we can really pull apart about his relationship with Kyle, or is Kyle just kind of there because the relationship with Cinder is so strong? Like, what do we make of that now that we're a little further in?
I think Kyle respects Alex, and probably because I think he wanted to back down for a while and wasn't completely in during that fight, which is one of the reasons he's alive. He was the sanest of that bunch, and Cinder was able to tell that this guy has potential. He's not, bloodthirsty enough, and that's why he's still alive. And Cinder finds him useful because the pragmatic, I guess, the guy's the most pragmatic of
He is
those.
very useful. Those pocket dimensions are great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The part where he pulls out, like, this giant shotgun.
Yeah.
Here you go, Alex. Here's a giant shotgun.
It's just, what is this thing? Like, this doesn't even look like a gun.
And then, when they decide to evacuate the warehouse.
Yeah. Use the vacuum.
Yeah, the Hoover. You're gonna Hoover. Um, as far as Kyle's relationship to Alex, I think he really hates him, and he
Yeah.
really blames him. But he like Blade was saying, he is pragmatic, and he understands that kinda wants not play by the rules. That's not the right way to describe it. It's something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I really have an answer for that. I was curious because um I mean they talk a lot because Cinder doesn't want to talk. So
Well,
it's
he's
hard to
busy
say if
eating french fries.
French fries. You gotta have your McDonald's French fries after long nights of killing, you know? It's important. Um
By the way, an excellent battle scene is in that warehouse.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
good.
loved it. Just the sounds of just watching Cinder just totally dominate the whole situation.
Well, I
And
mean,
Fire
then just like
resistant.
they're fire resistant, yeah, not fireproof.
and dealing with the golems, like, the way Alex does it upstairs, like, they're coming in through the upstairs, and he's, like, constantly throwing more and more grenades at the
Grenades.
golem, and it's still coming.
Yeah. It's like they're probably gonna throw another one because I don't think they understood that I threw the first one back. And then gotta go.
And this is one of the reasons why I love that day of fun, because it just like, it's a very intense book, and we have this moment of peace in the middle of the book,
Mhm.
and it's so great. So, okay, we gotta talk a little more about Dark Anne, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Anne's just gonna keep coming up, I think, through this entire book because this really is, in some ways, Anne's book. I mean, we have a lot of conflict centered around all of her choices, um, and it resolves around, again, her choices. And it's going to be, well, where did you want to take this, Red? Where do you wanna-
Well, my concern with this her locking and Dark Anne away the way that she does is that well, I find it interesting that she is so kind and soft and so cruel to this other side of her. Because I mean, she locks him. She's like, it was a mistake for me to lock you in the or just let you wander the tower. And she locks her in a dungeon and stuff. And she's really unwilling to deal with the issue
Mhm.
that she has. And uh, she even talks about how her psychiatrist took her into her realm, her whatever. And she's like, "You and Dark Anne need to talk. You guys need to talk." And things and even Alex says things started to get better when you were talking with her and now you're not anymore. And it's just leaving this huge vulnerability.
Mhm.
She needs to merge.
She needs to merge. Yeah. And Blade, your take?
Let's see here on Dark Anne. I can't think of anything I can add really. Good.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
agree. It just
vulnerability. Yeah.
yeah, this is an absolute glass cannon, right? I mean, we're talking about a person who's refusing to accept every part of themselves, and that has gotten so extreme
And
that
yet will accept her when she's needed, which is
yeah.
part of the
Right.
rub.
Well,
It's like whenever you're needed, it's like sometimes I wish I had a split personality that would like to clean and keep things organized so I could just like flip on, get the cleaning done, and then flip it off and then get to work. But then that poor person, I
this is the
mean,
magic version of Severance. We're bringing it around. This is the world.
Oh no. And all
Uh,
the people who have not watched Severance or know anything about it are so confused right
are
now.
now confused. Yeah.
I can guess, but yeah, I have
I,
not
I
watched that.
don't understand that reference.
Well, I don't understand Sonic references, so there you go.
There we go. Yeah. Um, but no, I agree. Like the separation of just like not being accountable for your own actions, because that's really what this comes down to.
Right.
Is these are the same person, and she's choosing to hate part of herself because she does certain things, which is a huge problem. And now it has attached to it this glass cannon of if that part does get any sort of control, there's a
She's got
Jin to contend with as well.
Gonna say, guess who's back?
Yeah.
well, and we have with that, it's like the first time First time, and how did that work? The first time, Anne could get rid of it herself. The
Right.
second time, she had to have Alex's help to get rid of it. The third time, there's
Probably done. Yeah.
yeah, no getting rid of it, and that can happen if she's alone. As long as she's with
Yeah.
friends, she's supposed to be fine.
But yeah, I understand that like this was a resolution that she needed to take for this particular moment. I hope we do spend some time in the last 3 books actually seeing this properly resolved to like an actual merging of Anne's powers, because it is like a legitimate concern if this is the only solution. Story wise or not, like this is a weird way to choose to end this particular storyline.
It
And yeah, so I can see maybe I'm predicting too much here, but Red, I do kind of want to ask you like, does this fall into your problems that you have with the book about the rescue and stuff like that you were talking about in the last episode? Is this how do you feel overall about this entire storyline being what it is? And
like the torture and rescue van that we were talking about
yeah,
in the last book? A little bit, because they
okay.
do like they have a conversation about how Dark Anne was with her during that time. And I just it's a little disjointed, but we're looking through Alex's eyes, so it's hard to know. I just feel like if Dark Anne is with you in that really dark moment of your life, you should really seriously consider integrating her into you. And we all have dark sides. All have good sides, like evil runs through the human heart, you know?
Mhm.
I'm quoting somebody, I don't know who. Was not my quote. And you would think that that would bring her to realize that if Dark Anne was willing to sit through her with that, that Dark Anne can be a force for good
Sure.
too.
Well, she's the survival instinct,
Right.
which everything is good when tempered with other things. It's when you separate things, distill them, that they get, yeah,
Yeah. The
break them
poison is
of
in the
other,
dose.
yeah.
Right. So maybe a weird question, since you both know what is coming, but do you think Alex is a good person for Anne to start taking those steps with? Like, if we're actually going to get Anne to a merged point, do you think Alex is a person who can help?
I cannot answer
Yeah.
that question because
Cannot
I
answer.
don't.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I can, regardless of what I know, is I feel like, he's a balanced individual. He fights when he has to fight, kills when he has to kill, but he is, he's made peace with he more or less made peace with his survival instinct, whereas she is fighting her survival instinct. So, I
Although
mean,
I
heck,
do
that's one of the
think
reasons she didn't. She was kind of mad at him, is because she was expecting him to act like her and not fight at all. But he's got the balance, more or less.
Okay.
that he is not quite at peace, and that's why I like his conversation with Rachel in this book,
Yeah.
and that he still needs to do a little self-integration.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah, I like that answer. I think that's good. I mean, I don't know what the result is, so who knows how much that means anything. But
Predictions.
are we on predictions? Do you want to go to predictions, or are we
Unless you
ready? Or
have
do
Do
you
we want
want
to
to?
talk
something to
about
say.
Onyx first, real quickly? We do get a little bit of
I was about to
Onyx.
say, I think we could. Honestly, we're approaching an hour, guys. I could go
Oh.
like probably another half hour on this thing.
And this
There's so much in this book.
it's only 300 pages, guys. It's
Only
only 300.
300 pages.
Yeah, 9 hours or 10 hours, something like that on audio,
Um,
normal
okay.
speed.
So here are two things I kind of wanted to cover real quick. And we don't have to take much time if we're closing out for people. But I do want to get to Onyx. I also want to talk about those prophecies. We get some juicy stuff in those things. Those were
Yes.
good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Or do
So
we?
okay. Or do we? Yeah, good question. So okay,
Because
but
by
let's start with
knowing,
Onyx. So yeah, Blade, what'd you wanna talk about there?
I mean, we get it. I more want to see what you thought of him and stuff like that, because there are some things, interesting things in there, but
Yeah.
maybe only visible with hindsight.
Okay. Well, so for me, where Onyx is at this point is he's always kind of been like just the dog let off the leash. And I think I
And not smart. It's not a
he
smart dog.
no, the very, very dumb dog on top of that. Um, and I think this just kind of solidified that thought, especially just because of, like, some of the imagery Jaka uses um, of, like, going to Morden's house and seeing it, like, literally built up like a dog pit, like, everything's just shattered and thrown apart, and no one is clean. It has a weird smell. Like, this guy is
Smells
so
like a
opposite.
sewer.
Yeah, like,
About that.
Morden is just for whatever reason, Morden chose this guy to be his chosen, right? And
Apparently,
that's
he
where I
had
think
potential at one point.
yeah, but, he's too combative, right? Or what does Morden say? Like, he knows one tool really well or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I
It's a
think that's
disappointment.
yeah, a disappoint he's just a disappointment. I think that's a misguided thought on everyone's part, though. I think
Okay.
Onyx is about to I think Onyx is about to become a real problem, especially because he has the Fate Weaver statue.
That is
And
definitely a concern.
yeah, and Alex totally dismisses it. He's like, "There's no way Onyx is gonna figure out how to open this thing." Except for Onyx has already been inside. He's already watched you do this.
But he doesn't
Like,
have
he
he doesn't
knows.
have the cube,
He
and
doesn't have the cube.
only Luna can use the cube
Yeah, but what's stopping Onyx from pursuing Luna,
because he's
right?
not smart.
We're talking
Maybe.
about Onyx here. That no one saw the. You're expecting him to put two thoughts together.
I'm just saying,
Well,
this is the danger. This is the
in the
dismissal that
council
should not be happening.
in the council meeting after the all of the book, they're, like, talking about, there was a raid on a depot of
Yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
and they explain it, and Alex is like, "Oh, that was Onyx," and they're like, "How do you know? You leaked to him. You leaked to Onyx," and he's like, "It was badly executed."
They also got him on camera though, I think a few times too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
because Onyx doesn't know how to do a mission. And Inspire even said, "Will this work?" And he's like, I don't trust Onyx to, get anything right."
Yeah. So,
But, you have your fun with your little Onyx theory.
I will.
He's not smart.
No. I honestly, if he ends up just not being very smart, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
there's the question.
I'm not even attributing this to intelligence necessarily. I'm just thinking the guy broken clock's right twice a day, right? Like this guy can
Fair
stumble
enough.
into greatness.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Um
Yeah. Do you think he was part of the setup at the Tiger's Palace, or was he a dupe?
Oh, I think he
wait,
was just taking advantage of it.
yeah, I think he was just
Mm,
taking advantage. Yeah.
He knew it was gonna happen, and he was like,
yeah.
"Well, the all the keepers are gonna be trying to kill all the adepts."
No, well, I mean, like, he's the one that told them about the meeting at the Tiger's Palace. So the question is, did Richard like use him to set up the Tiger's Palace, or did he know full well that the Tiger Palace wasn't going to work and decide to send them off anyway? It doesn't really matter. It just popped into my head.
I said, "I think Richard wanted him to know because he
Oh, for
thinks
100%. The question
he
is, did
knows
Onyx
he'll
know
leak."
that Richard wanted him to do this? Which I guess it doesn't really matter, but
I think it's 50-50. What do you think?
yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I put it 50-50. I just had all that conversation about Onyx having Fate Weaver. I just realized Morden's out, so it probably is more likely Morden has Fate Weaver at this point.
You think Onyx is gonna let him back in?
I don't think he's gonna have a choice. Morden is Morden. I really, I think a lot of that all comes down to really how many steps ahead Richard and Morden are ever planning, which could be quite a bit. So,
So, having read the whole series a couple times, like maybe 4, um, I still don't know how much Mordant was involved in the planning. Like, that's
interesting.
something that we can, like, how much he was a pawn, how much he was, like, going along for his own advantage, and how much he actually knew.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to see what I think at the end of this read.
We'll have to do a okay. We'll do a rain check after Risen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay. Dragon prophecies. So 3 questions, 3 answers. all the answers are bad. I love this part. All of the answers are not great. And then Alex is just like, can you be a little more specific? I was like,
Which I thought was very nice of Athena to put up with that.
yeah, I do too.
I mean, she probably saw it coming. So
Well, she could have just
you
said,
could
"No,
argue
those
she's
are your
toying
answers."
with him. It's
She
like,
was gracious.
this is not, he's not going to take this, but we're going to give it to him anyway
Yeah.
and see what happens. This is going to be fun.
Um, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what they were now, though. Okay, so Alex cannot take the gin away from Anne without dying, right?
Right.
That was the first. The
Yeah.
second one was Alex can continue to amass power, but it will cost
His friends' lives.
his friends' lives, specifically Anne and Varium. Luna is on a separate path. That's interesting. Then what was the third?
About separating Rachel from
That's right.
Richard.
So,
And that's
yeah.
so she explains more about how that's why she's like, listen to Rachel, which is why he let Rachel just like rail him for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, just to try to get anything out of her that wasn't antagonizing her.
It's something to do with about what she fears. She has to know what she fears to walk away from Richard. And then what do you think Rachel fears?
Okay,
I think that she's afraid that she's not good enough.
that's what yeah, I that she's never gonna live up to anything that powerless, I guess, would be the best overall word for that.
I also
Um,
think that she probably fears that Richard is gonna boot her for Alex if Alex will come over to his side. I don't know if this is ever made clear in the series, so I might be
yeah,
spoiling. I
that's
don't know.
okay. I don't know. Part of me wonders if she actually. I mean, like we've seen with Richard, kind of saying like, Alex, you don't really matter that much to me. I kind of wonder if Rachel feels the same way. Like for her, Alex is more a concern because of the opposition that he plays in their larger plans and like just having a general hatred for him.
Blade, do you have thoughts?
Guess she fears becoming irrelevant and not getting what she's worked so hard for. I mean, that's what she pretty much says is that, and what he kind of needles her with, right? Is that, oh, you've been replaced by all these people, the Haler and Morden are all the real chosen of Richard, and you're still the errand person.
And she is being treated that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, she is kind of Richard's Onyx in a way. She's unhinged,
Yeah.
killing machine.
But it's so hard to tell if Richard actually sees her as a disappointment just because we can never have that conversation directly, right? I mean, she is his chosen, so theoretically, she should be doing stuff like what she's doing. It's not totally outside the realm of that role, right?
But she should be in his council as well, and she's
Yeah,
not.
and
She's
she's not.
excluded. I mean, she doesn't know what's going on. So we find out that basically Anne has to take care of the gen herself. He can't do anything. And he can either become powerful enough to defeat his enemies or he can protect his friends and die.
Yeah,
Of course, all this is caged in. This is what it would have been if you hadn't heard these prophecies.
Yeah.
But by hearing them, things have changed. For the good or bad, we don't know.
yeah,
And she does say you're going to have to, if you want to become powerful enough, you have to pick up what you set down, which, I mean, that was not hiding the ball. We're obviously talking about the Fate Weaver.
yeah. There was not much subtlety in that one. Even I picked that up.
Oh,
It was
well, in
it
that
was
case,
basically in your face. It was
Yeah.
not like, I'd be worried, Jingles, if you had not picked
If I
that up.
had not picked that one up, yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably
I'd be
fair.
I'd be worried about your reading acumen.
Reading comprehension, little skills. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I still wonder about those every once in a while, so
You're
be a
doing
little
great.
surprised.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Yeah,
Okay.
I do just love the style of dragon in these where they're essentially just completely out of time and space and just can kind of implant themselves wherever they choose for particular reasons.
Yeah, they're basically gods.
Yeah.
Oh,
Basic
how did
or just.
or well, is oh, wait, no, I can't say that because I don't know if it was in this book or a different book, so never mind.
All
that's what you
right.
get for reading in or what we get for going so slowly. One of the two.
I look, I'm not gonna lie, every time we record on a book, I then finish the series, and then I have to reread the book so I know what's in which book.
Oh, that's so funny. Wait, so how many times have you read the series in the last year?
Um, a lot.
A lot. Oh my
Is
god.
it the
I
whole
haven't done
series, or you start from the book that we're
Yes,
doing and then
right,
you
exactly,
go
it's
to
not the
the
whole
end?
series, no,
Is it-
and
Yeah.
I haven't necessarily finished the series each time, and then there's been a couple times where I've gone back and listened to, the episode I did with Risen, with, Cesky on
Oh, with
his
Chesky.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm looking forward to listening to that one. I've been slowly making my way through his episodes on Libromancy whenever I
yeah.
can
So,
get through a
basically, I
book.
just DM'd him, and I'm like, "Seriously, can we talk about this book together on your podcast? Because I am loving this series so much." I think Risen is a little longer than the rest of the books, but
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the finale, right? You got to make sure everything's in there.
for sure, for sure.
Cool.
Okay,
All
Yeah,
so
right.
he's got plenty of room considering how short they normally are.
I know. I do want to keep
Or maybe I
moving.
have poor expectation of book length considering I'm a Wheel of Time archive, Stormlight Archive fan. So
Hey. We can always dip
25
into this
hours,
one.
that's a small book.
It's a fast book. If I can get through it in a day, it's small.
every single one of these books would qualify for, my
Sanderson novella.
defunct my defunct podcast Wordless, like, every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're all technically under 300, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or close enough. I don't think they ever come close
Yeah,
to
I
even
mean, we
350.
did Ender's Game, so that's a little longer, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, not the short story, the book.
Yeah.
And I so oh, never mind. Let's do predictions.
Okay. Some prophecies of our own. What's the name of the next book? I forgot to look that up before we started this.
That's a good question. APA,
Is it Fallen?
I think it is.
might be. Let's see. I got collections. Fallen, Forged, Risen.
Fallen, Forged, Risen. Interesting sequence of names there. Okay. So, predictions. Our overarching story, I think we're actually going to figure out what Richard's been up to in this book. And I think it is going to cost Alex a lot. I think this is very much the all hope is lost book that we're going to get, where he is in some capacity going to lose Varium, Luna, and Anne. We're going to get right back into Dark Anne being a problem because that can't hide for very long. What's Luna going to do? Luna is on a separate path. I don't know what that means yet, but it might be that it breaks her and Alex's friendship breaks, which would be horrible. But because of the name, I'm going with Darkest Timeline. And then Varium. Is Varium going to be the first of them to die? He might be the first of them to die. I think he's set for that. That's unfortunate. Okay, I predict Varium's death in this book. We'll see, though.
I think those are solid considering the title and how the story's progressing. Those are solid predictions.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not
Oh,
saying they're
let's
correct.
just
I'm just
no.
saying.
Well, that's fair. Hey, I don't want you to. I want to be shocked. I will add just to get more specific. I think Anne is going to be the death of Varium.
I'm thinking about that. Okay. That's
I
solid.
think we gotta just wrap that all back together, right? Uh, her original protector is gonna do
How do
one
you
last
think
bit.
how do you think that Dark Anne is gonna be a problem?
I think we're not gonna get Anne to the point where she's not totally reliant on switching out to Dark Anne in some moment. It's probably gonna be some combat of some kind, and she's gonna switch, and that's when all hell's gonna break loose.
There's definitely gonna be some things that shock you in this next book. Like,
Dang. Okay.
and actually have nothing to do with the predictions you just made. They're just gonna be terribly shocking.
Yeah. Okay. I've learned to not go too linear with this book with this series as far as plot lines go because they seem to be very Jack is very good at catching me off guard, even with things that like, oh, I should have seen this coming, obviously. But when you don't know what to
Yeah.
look for,
That's what makes this series such a fun, great reread because you see all these things that you can't see the first time you read them.
yeah.
You just can't. And I mean, I think even on this, when we started recording this, I found 2 or 3 things that I missed the first time in the first book.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, like, and then the second book, there's a Hermes one where there's a fox in his Neverwhere, but the whole blessing curse thing that happens in the statue, Like,
Or
it's
just
so
when they get
quick,
out. Yeah.
but you don't see it until your next reread. So, I'm just
Yeah.
saying you can go back to this book and series and have fun with it, and, like, nice little palate cleanser between your Stormlight Archive and your giant Stephen King novels or whatever you're reading.
Whatever I'm reading. I'm not reading anything good right now. Splinter of the Mind's Eye, everyone. Look out for it. It's coming. Star Wars. The worst Star Wars book I think I've ever put eyes to. Spoilers for me. But yeah. And then I need to this is a great well, the series so far has been great, but I need to get through the rest of the War God's Own with Seeker. So we've got some
You
fun
have
stuff
a
coming up. Yeah.
I am gonna be recording our first we just recorded our with Seeker and Todd and Rabbit, I have to edit it, our, next 2 Pen and Des short stories, and then on the 30th, we're recording our very first Marquesican book, and I'm super excited.
Hey, yeah, it's about time. It's coming.
It's coming. We already did our little intro to the saga, so Shards of Honor, here I come.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to keep this in. A little preview for everybody on what's to come on the Green Team. Among many other things. There's so much going on with Green Team right now, folks.
Oh,
It's
it's
wild.
crazy. I
We're
was
blowing up.
I was talking to Craig about it. I'm like, "You gotta understand, it's herding cats over there." Like, it is insane.
I think we have like maybe 6 different ongoing series that are being talked about
Yeah,
actively. It's
yeah.
impressive. It's great.
Well, when you have 20 people.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
And Seeker's doing all the things, by the way, it's crazy. Like, he's
Yeah,
on 3 series, I guess I'm on 3 too, but, uh, Penn and Des is kind of like every once in a while, and they're short
right.
stories, so it's like,
You're
it's
not
not the
committed to
same.
necessarily the whole thing. Yeah.
Right, for sure.
Cool.
Marcuskin.
All right. Well, we already did some self-serving plugs for Green Team. Do we want to plug anything else? I will, just
No.
because he's not here, I will plug Chesky's Libromancy podcast. You absolutely should go listen to his takes on Alex Verus. And he's already been through the whole series. So if you're ahead of us, then you can just keep on going through and listening. Great. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. This is great. I feel like this whole series has been fantastic. I am just loving it as we keep going. And I'm really excited that we can now see the ending on the horizon, and I can't wait to see what happens with everything. So, um, let's see here. I need to probably do a couple thanks. Thank you to Craig and the Legendarium and Horizon Brave for starting the Green Team. Intro and outro music is going to be Galactic Damages by Jingle Punks. Thank you for joining us with our discussion of Marked. You can find us on YouTube now, so like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And if you just want to talk more frequently, hit up the Discord. It's a really fun place.
You can find links on the legendarium.com.
You can. All right. For TexasBlade and Little Red Book, I'm Jingles. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Good night.
Have a good one.